What's up, Reject Nation? I'm Greg Alba.
I'm John Humphrey.
We're gonna watch the trailer for Netflix's Mindhunter Season 2. Loved Season 1.
Love serial killers.
Love serial killers, generally speaking. When I
Bundy.
saw this guy play Charles Manson, I was like, oh, I'm so excited to see him
More.
play Manson in the show, Mindhunter. Hey, we haven't mentioned this in a while. We got a Patreon page, yo. We haven't mentioned it at the top, at least. Over there, we do weekly Q&As. There's several shows that we do TV show reaction stream-alongs for, and those are Cobra Kai Season 2, Haunting of Hill House Season 1, Gotham, All of Stranger Things Season 3, John just started up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and there are several shows where we do the stream-alongs and actually have 10-minute reaction highlights included. That's right, footage, as if this was a YouTube video, but, you know, restrictions, guidelines, whatever. And those are Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, My Hero Academia, we even covered the movie as well, Death Note, just started that up, Code Geass, just started that one up as well. One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, and Supernatural. We've made the Patreon page as easy to navigate as possible. Thank you to everyone who's pledged recently. We had a really successful month last month, so thank you guys. Hopefully, more of you guys hop on board the Patronage train.
January 1974. They just moved in 2 months prior. My partner and I were first on the scene. He was feeling for a light when something bumped him. That's when we found the little girl hanging from this pipe.
Jesus.
I found someone to take over who will be very good for the BSU. He wants to expand the unit, and he intends to make our approach practice.
Tell me, who's the one you want more than anything? Manson. I'll get you, Manson.
This is $100,000, and it's all yours if you help us identify the persons behind the murders of our children in Emmett.
Another child reported missing in Atlanta. I'm sending you both. I want you there for the duration.
So all these children, one killer.
I believe that to be the case. It's statistically rare for serial killers to cross racial lines.
It's also statistically significant that the Klan kills black people.
Get him out of there. If he blows this gun, we'll rethink his
Oh,
investment.
we're gonna deal with the Klan too, huh?
Department. What did Holden say that so offended the city?
We need to stay focused. If you're distracted,
I have some things to deal with at home. It's personal.
She had someone else's underwear stuffed down her throat.
Oh.
Do you know where your children are?
this is one prayer.
What if you're wrong?
I'm not.
Arrogant, self-serving twerp. We can't have television, Holden.
What evidence is there to suspect the Klan?
Son, we've got 19 dead black children. You telling me that's a coincidence?
One more thing. Manson is small. Like really small.
Oh, this
Ed.
guy.
Try not to stare.
God, that actor.
6 days after my sister's birthday.
Now that's a bonding experience for the ages. You got to get together, you know, celebrate, Fincher style.
I'm supposed to be babysitting that weekend. I know what I'm showing that kid when we're binge watching.
Yeah. I'm gonna psychoanalyze you and see what makes you tick, you little mind hunter.
Why do you sound like the perp?
You know, just trying to subvert expectations. It's what modern entertainment's all about. Gotta give
you
the
take
people,
a little
yeah.
mind hunter.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make this as creepy as I could, as quickly as possible.
First off, when you go off season 1, you have Ed Kemp,
Yeah, I think so.
Ed O'Neill,
Garth Kemp from the news.
Kemper.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you had the setup that they were wrapping around with the BK Killer.
The BTK killer.
Nope, Burger
Burger King?
The Burger King. Burger the King.
How scary would it be if a serial killer donned that king mask, though?
See? You never know. They take creative liberties with these shows. Then this hype of Charles Manson's going to be in the show.
And
It's
gonna be
weird how
just-
there's like a hype around that. Isn't that fucking strange?
And what I would love so dearly is if he only shows up once upon a time in Hollywood style for like just one scene he walks through and that's it.
But that's been like the hype.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's been- because Holt has been wanting to get Manson for an interview.
Yeah, man, he's the granddaddy of
But there
messed
is-
up minds.
even this trailer teases it like it's a fucking Marvel cameo
Yeah,
or
yeah.
some shit, you know?
Like he's gonna come in like backlit with some kind of big moment at the end of like a cliffhanger at the end of the first episode or something.
The way Manson's been treated in the media, and it's weird. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood coming out, he has become like this
Back in
this
vogue.
this like film character of sorts, you know, and that extends beyond like the horrible real life person he was. It's fucking strange. Seems like the season is primarily focused on this idea of there's like like 19 black people who were murdered. They think the Klan's responsible. Holt believes that there's a serial killer who's responsible for it. It's kind of hard to pick up on in this like David Fincher kind of trailer. Like, thoughts, chaos, paranoia. It's gonna build paranoia.
It's, like, it's got elements of the different stuff in the season, but mostly what you're feeling is just, oh my god, this is so intense and psychological.
Yeah, and then
I don't envy any of these
It's that
people.
psychological headspace. It's just, I don't have enough room to process anything, and I'm being pushed over the edge, which is very Fincher-esque to the show. Mindhunter, especially.
He makes really calm, entertaining work.
Yeah, it's very meditative experiences that he makes.
Tone poem.
With all the things that have been the most gravitating in terms of the hooks that you've been having, I don't know what the true story is behind any of
This
FBI people.
season.
Yeah, I don't know who like if this is the exact events of how the journey went down
If
with
this has
them.
been very fictionalized or what. You know.
It has to be.
It has
right?
to be.
It has to
pretty
be.
high. I always, like, with these kinds of things now, I always assume that the broad strokes and some of the themes are mirroring real life in some way, but they're taking liberties to make this entertainment.
Yes.
If anything, I'll take these as inspiration to read more.
Ed Kemper, it seems to have been this character in this show that people really like. Like, people really like it. He's a real life bad like, he did terrible things, like god awful things.
They love how good that actor is.
Yeah, but like, people either really just like the character or they hate how much they like that character, you know?
I think that's a
I'm
better
wondering if there's gonna be the same effect of when they finally do get Manson in here. I'm wondering what the overall wraparound is gonna be with this series, because this show originally got compared to the likes of something as like True Detective. Of course, so like the detectives and the obsession with hunting down a serial killer.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Philosophical and psychological.
But True Detective has a like one story per season.
Yeah.
They wrap it up. The last season doesn't. And it's been a long time since season, like, at least in my eyes, it feels like it's been a long, it's been a year and a half, like 2 years, something like that. It's been a while. I'm wondering where this is going, because they had the whole thing with the BTK killer, and you're like, is that how season 1 is gonna end?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't the BTK killer get caught way later?
Like recently in history.
Are they still gonna have that be sort of a wraparound here?
I would be curious.
Is this going to be one of those series that ultimately ends with a time jump to catch in the BT? That's what it just seems like, right?
Yeah, whenever they get the axe from Netflix, they'll just, make that the last 3 episodes of the season is like skipping ahead. I guess one thing that I find really fascinating about this trailer is, I don't know much about the history this may or may not be borrowing from for the central storyline of the central mystery with these racially motivated murders, or what seems like racially motivated murders. And I feel like that's an interesting, I'm excited and fascinated to see how they're going to handle that side of things, because they always delve into the psychology of these people and they talk to the people who do these things, and to kind of see what motivates that level of racial based hatred could be an interesting territory to explore nowadays that, we're butting up against some really nasty racism again in culture. I feel like if handled properly, this could be something interesting and sort of cultural for the show to explore.
And then we got our 2 white heroes.
Definitely, who are going to save everybody and make it all better, because that's what we do. The only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good white guy.
And another thing that feels different about this specific season, based off just what the trailer has given us. In the first season, I remember they went around, like, a lot of it was road tripping. This one seems like it's gonna primarily take place in this one town. Yeah.
It seems like their operation has now set its roots,
Yeah.
and they're going to be in one location.
Which feels a little more Fincher-esque to me. Something a little bit more like Zodiac or a Gone Girl, which takes place in just one town, and you're kind of watching the way the town is reacting.
You've got that small town shake-up paranoia
Yeah,
stuff.
and they were saying that thing about Holt said something that really upset people,
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the hell did Holt do now? I remember, like, that actor was being interviewed, and he was saying how it was interesting to play a character who's not that likable. I'm like, what? Your character's not likable? I thought you were, like, really likable. I don't remember.
You seem like a charming,
when you're a protagonist amongst a bunch of serial killers, it's not hard to be that likable, you know?
I think that there is something to be concerned about in the sort of fanaticism over serial killers, and especially when we have a time like this where somebody like Charles Manson is popping up in a lot of popular entertainment. And I think this show highlights in a fascinating way, like, it is at the core about who are the humans and what are the minds like that make these things happen. That's what I always look forward to the most here, so I hope that they can avoid I mean, there's always going to be controversy, but, you know, fanaticizing those elements, making good on the psychological, like, let's explore, let's, you know, get deep into the themes.
Sure. Yeah. But then I do want my, you know, serial killer cinematic universe to be explored.
Oh, yeah, and I want graphic redepictions of all the murders.
I want
definitely.
a bunch of killer cameos. We want both. We want you to treat it with respect, but then also jam-pack it with real-life serial killers.
Grindhouse respect.
Anyway, guys, are you excited for Mindhunter Season 2? I bet you are. This has been a long time coming. It's a long wait here.
I know, everyone's hyped.
You guys can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Make sure to check us out on our Patreon page. Let's give a Patron of the Day shout-out to a man named David Waterhouse.
Welcome back.
David Waterhouse, my friend. Last time we talked, you were telling me about some real difficult times you've been going through. I just want to tell you right here, sincerely, that you are a major inspiration to me. I don't want to go into any details because it's very private, but the fact that you've been able to still keep your head above ground during all this shit is mind-blowing in and of itself. I don't know anyone who's had to deal with the kind of specific struggles you've had to deal with physically and emotionally. You are one of my heroes. That being said, if things get too tough, try killing people out. Just try it.
Yeah,
just try it.
You know, and have fun with it. You know, come up with like a calling card, a style.
We've never killed. I want to make that clear.
Not yet.
But I think maybe you ought to give it a shot. And if you do, don't blame us.
No.
But if people end up liking you, know where to give credit.
I mean, you know, you could shout us out in one of your murders or something. Like, leave one of our videos playing at the scene or something like that. Or, like, you know, carve a Real Rejects
Anything
logo.
that helps get us attention.
Into someone's, you know,
yes,
severed limbs. It's good to have you back, David.